My name's Gary Schotten. I'm here as a part of Inspiring Better Business. I'm going to talk today about the subject of reputation. I'm going to start with just your personal reputation is something all of us are building on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, based on how we act. And we should recognize that people are establishing their opinion of us every time we do something, and the consistency is there. Whether we like it or not, it's there. We could be creating a positive reputation or maybe not so good. We could be always late. Every time this person comes here, always the last one here, or we could be always early. We could always be expecting others to pay. Boy, I'm going to look out how I can get somebody else to how to pay for this. Or you can have the reputation of always being willing to pay your fair share or being generous with your payment towards something or giving. Or you can have a reputation of honesty. Only takes a few times to also develop a reputation of consistently being dishonest. Watch that person. Be careful. I think of a few real examples. One individual, he's now in his 70s. I've known him for 25 years. I don't hang around him, but he's very egotistical. I did this. I did this. All this thing is because of me. And I saw him a couple weeks ago, and he was sharing something. And once again, well, I built that. Well, that's not really true. He's pretty well favoring himself in those situations. So I know that person, and when I'm around that person, another person I was eating across the table from, I knew from another situation, from a reputable source, that he did not pay one of their vendors. He owed them, he weaseled out of it, he didn't, and I just can't be happy because I know he has that reputation. I can be friendly, but I'm not going to be a friend of that person because that's their personal style. Well, all this bleeds over into your way you do business. Are you an honest business? Or do you have a reputation of paying your bills? Do you have a reputation of being easy to work with as a vendor would be? You expect a vendor to supply to you. Are you supplying to your customers in an easy way? Are you a company that just because somebody gives you a lower price on something, just a few dollars less, you jump and change your vendor? We have very consistent loyalty to our suppliers, our vendors, and we don't let someone else outshop them. There could be a rare reason that they're not meeting our expectations or the price is consistently way out of line, but there's a reason for that. We would go talk to them, but we try to stick. We've actually been with our same insurance agent that helps with our health care for over 22 years. And that person is so loyal to us, and we're loyal to them. So your business reputation is important because people think of you when you walk up based on the way you do things, not what's said, but what you actually do. Well, I'm going to tell a story about my father. It was really kind of a heart-wrenching situation, and it had to do with his reputation. So we're farmers. It was back in the middle 60s, 1965, 66, 67, somewhere in there. The price of wheat was right around $1 a bushel, and the trucks that hauled these wheat was about 350 bushels, so one truckload of wheat would be $350. And it happens to be that we had lots of land to be harvested, but it wouldn't be practical to have your own combines to harvest this. And so there's what we call traveling harvesting crews that come from the south to the north, and you pay them to cut your wheat. And they could be having more than one combine, and they could be cutting for more than one farmer at one time. So it turns out that a neighbor down the road accused my dad and four others, for a total of 5, that they had stolen wheat from him. How did they do that? Well, when the truck was loaded and it went from the field that it was on, when it was reported at the elevator, this farmer said that they reported, since this same harvester had harvested for them, as well as these other 5, including my dad, that they reported legally and to the newspaper that 5 farmers had conspired and each one stole one truckload of wheat, $350. Oh my goodness. This is so far from the truth from my dad and the others as well. This is an honest community, and it really hurt them because this went on, and this farmer that had bad intent, he claimed and filed lawsuit against him. Now it's going to court. There's not very many court hearings in our little town anyway. And the court hearing of just being accused of stealing is just like, oh, like a dagger in the heart. But Dad and these other 4 people had to defend themselves and prove that the yield on their wheat would not have allowed them to add another truckload compared to their yield. It was without a shadow of a doubt that this was a false accusation. But it really, really tore my dad up, because just to be accused legally and professionally and set on a court in front of a jury and defend yourself was tough. So be careful when someone could falsely accuse people. So jump not on board with everything you hear. That person, my dad, all those around knew at the end of the day the reputation of the 4 farmers plus my dad making 5 was so much more amplified and proven out than the one person that was trying to basically not pay their harvest bill. They didn't want to pay the farmer, the guy that cut the wheat. Oh, this is an example of reputation. Now, I took a little time with that, but I'm telling you, you could be falsely accused. And that's something that you've got to be careful with. I'll tell a little one on myself, okay? I'm very amateurish in Facebook. And I'm just learning just a couple weeks ago about how Facebook, I know I'm behind times. Please forgive me for that. And I'm just, okay, I've got to get into this. And someone spoofed and sent out an ugly Facebook to everyone on my Facebook list, I guess. I don't really know how it works. And that's not me. I would never send that. It was bad language, sexual. And I asked my friends, what do I do? That hurts me. And they said, well, it's happened to all of us. And in this case, I didn't decide to chase it. Sometimes when you chase a false accusation, you may make it worse. So you'll have to decide that. Yes, I think you should defend yourself. My dad did. I think you should let the facts be known, but without chasing it, without making a big deal about it, because your actions on consistently over month by month and year by year, people around you know who you are, and they will become more convinced of who you are based on your actions than what's said against you. Don't try to get even. Oh my goodness, you're going to create a battle. I believe that the Word of God's right in this area, that if you just turn this over and let God take care of this. I remember something my pastor said about when he was a young man and he was a little more rambunctious and he was able to physically defend himself, and somebody offended him and basically said some things and did some things to him. And you know, he came to the conclusion, I remember him telling it several times, he said, I'm just going to turn that over to the Lord. And you know, it wasn't very long that some guys from another town came up and just whooped up on these guys. My pastor, as a young man, even though he wasn't perfect, I'm not saying that, he turned it over to God and let Him take care of it. There's a time to do that. Don't always chase everything. And the bottom line is to be sure that you're doing what's right. Just think before mankind and God, is this the right thing to do? This doesn't have to be a long list of do's and don'ts that you forget something. It just ask yourself, is it the right thing to do? Is it the fair thing to do? And then remember that you're building your reputation over a long period of time, a long, long period of time. I think of the unfortunate thing where one person in my town had the unbelievably high credentials of long, well-respected, actually in the legislative branch, and worked for the Better Business Bureau, and then succumbed to the temptation of stealing because of a gambling addiction, and stole lots of money internally from the organization he worked. Oh my goodness, he's going to go down in history, not for all of his good works, not the positive reputation, but the thing that he did get caught. Remember, the truth will always come out. Thank you for your time, for listening. Be a part of Inspiring Better Business.